Yes, what's going on, man? What's going on, people? Hope everybody is blessed. Yeah, man, we're back in the building. We're back in the building. Hope everybody enjoyed their weekend. Now, listen, look, we got some news, some Luis Diaz news. I mean, I know everybody's probably already spoken about it. You've had a bit of time to kind of, gloss it over and, you know, just I guess say your goodbyes. Really and truly in regards to Luis Diaz, as we know he has obviously now moved well, they've reached full agreement at the time of this video with Bayern Munich. A 75 million euro package has been agreed and authorized for a medical confirmed from Liverpool and Fabrizio Romano. As we know, Luis Diaz, he wanted to leave. We accepted the conditions. Diaz will now sign a 4-year deal at Bayern Munich. So now Bayern Munich could have a front four, I think, of Luis Diaz out there on the left, Elise on the right, Musiala, obviously, when he comes back from injury, through the number 10 position. And then you have got Harry Kane up front. Yes, that will be a very good forward line. That'll be a very, very good forward line. Now, obviously, when we're looking at Luis Diaz, right? I've seen what some people have said. I get it as well. Diaz was a decent player, man. He was a decent player. I think we saw the best of Luis Diaz when he first joined us. That, in my opinion, anyway, I feel like that Luis Diaz that we were able to see those 6 months when he came in from Porto. That's probably the best Diaz I've ever seen, to be honest with you. Taking away, international football and stuff like that. Since then, it's been a little piece, I mean, a bit rocky. Obviously, he's had injuries, his dad being kidnapped, and so many different kind of things. And I do feel sorry for him in that kind of sense, because it almost feels like his time here at Liverpool has been a little bit stop start kind of thing. It's never really been like free flowing. It's never just been, okay, I've had all of these seasons, to be able to show, what I can kind of do, and et cetera, et cetera. And again, I'm not really here to crash on a Diaz or nothing like that. It's not really about that, to be honest with you. It's just more about, taking a look back at his time here, at Liverpool, and then, kind of seeing what Liverpool are kind of gonna, do next. Do you know what I mean? That's all I really care about. I'll be honest with you. Like, the way I see it is, whether you're saying Richard Hughes or Michael Edwards, I don't really look at them guys. They're not really the important guys in my eyes. The important one is Arne Slot. What does he care about? Does he care? Well, probably does. He probably just looks at it and thinks, yeah, you know what? Listen, he was a player that I utilized quite a lot last season. For Liverpool, played on the left, played through the middle as well, as we know, can play on the right hand side. Um, I mean, he trusted him. So I am probably a little bit confused. I won't lie. There is a little bit of a confusion for me when I do look at it, because I am a little bit like, all right, cool. Like, I thought you would want to keep someone like him. If anything, Gakpo would have been the one to go. That's who I wanted to go, to be fair to you. I mean, if I had to choose between the two, it would have been Gakpo. But listen, 75 million euros for Luis Diaz at this kind of time, I don't think Liverpool are complaining. And it looks like Liverpool may potentially get someone in, but we'll take a look at that later. Now, when we're looking back at Luis Diaz's time, so obviously he had that first 6 months. I haven't really included that here, but when we look at his first like full season, at Liverpool, and that's the 22-23 year. I mean, it was okay. Like, nah, that's a lie. Let me not say it was okay. It was very underwhelming. And I think that's more coming off the back of, the season he just had, in terms of the 6 months. But I think this is the year that he picked up that injury. So, of course, that obviously plays into quite a lot of it. And I get it. But again, I know a lot of people said prior to the injury, they were like, yeah, no, Diaz was looking. Da-da-da-da. I didn't really see that. I'll be honest with you. I thought he looked calm, but I still could see, yeah, you're not the same guy. Like, even before that injury, you're not the same player that I remember in that first 6 months before Klopp got his hands, kind of on you. And it was then about how you can fit into the system. Yeah, that's where it went wrong for me in terms of Diaz's career at Liverpool. As soon as Klopp was able to kind of get into him, Linders, whoever you want to kind of put in there, but as soon as they were able to kind of chat with him, and now it's all about, the system, styles, and etc. Yeah, for me, that was it. That was the end of Diaz. That we haven't seen a good Diaz since then. Well, we haven't seen the Diaz that we thought we were going to see, especially after that first 6 months. So yes, I'm not saying he was like poor before the injury, but I think people overgas how good he actually was prior to that injury. He was okay to decent, kind of thing. But yeah, I think he had a bit of form, but again, nothing that was really gonna, you know, rock the boat. If I'm being totally honest with you, you were still kind of looked at as like, it's all better. Do you know what I mean? Like I've seen you hit those heights. I need that kind of level of consistency. And if I feel as well, if he had stayed at that level of consistency, then I think you're talking about Diaz in a different kind of realm where 75 million euros is actually a disrespect. You know what I mean? Right now, 75 million, everyone's like, oh my God, like we were able to sell Diaz for double the amount. And it's like, yeah, because it's kind of one of those, isn't it? Like he's not really developed that much. He's not really that good. He's not really at that kind of level. You don't really mind him going. That's why people don't mind it 75 million. But really, I had hopes that if anybody even attempted 75, in fact, you wouldn't even come to the table with 75. You wouldn't even come to the table. It would have been, now I need 100 minimum. That's the kind of level I thought he was going to kind of aspire to. He didn't do that. It is what it is. Not everybody, can reach those kind of heights. Following season, obviously got better with numbers, obviously playing, etc., etc. I think this is the year. I think 23, 24. I'm sure. Yeah, that's when his dad obviously got kidnapped. Obviously all of that kind of stuff as well. So yeah, he had a couple like rough couple years. You know what I mean? Like in terms of injury and then this pretty decent like goal return and stuff like that. Um, yeah, it was okay. It was okay. In regards to that, and then obviously last season we won the Premier League. Played 50 games, 17 goals, 8 assists, blah blah blah. Yeah, that was all good, and you can see obviously the positions that he played. Again, for me, like for me personally, and I can't speak for everybody because I know everyone's got their own different reasons as to why they wanted a different player, why they didn't mind Luis Diaz going. For me, I think I've said it a couple times. I think it was just boredom for me. Like I kind of Diaz isn't going to surprise you in that kind of way. And I always look at players like Salah's never going to surprise you. Like Salah is just Salah, what he is in it. Like he does the same things over and over again, but he does it so efficiently and so consistently. You just respect that about him. Whether you rate him play or aesthetically, whatever, it doesn't really matter because you just rate what he does, right? With Diaz, yeah, it was never really that. Aesthetically, yeah, he's calm. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, that's my kind of baller, but yeah, you're not really that efficient. Do you know what I mean? So you'd have to be so consistent at the aesthetics part, where then people then don't speak about the numbers so much. And I think that's what then ended up happening is people start looking at numbers, 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 numbers. I'm like, if you actually just watch Diaz, he's more than just the numbers. I'll give him that. He is more than just the numbers kind of guy. I do think he has a bit more strings to his bow. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But yeah, he's just not consistent. I mean, he'll go long periods of the season where, in my opinion, you're just kind of ineffective. Like if and again the aesthetic merchants, if when we're watching that and that's not really producing, I need to see GA at least then, because there's only two sides of football. There's the aesthetics, there's the goals and assists. That's it. There's nothing else. Yeah, you know what I mean? There is literally nothing else. So obviously if you're a defender there's going to be extra bits or whatever, but in terms of like an attacker, there's just goals and assists. There's the aesthetic side. That is it. And the aesthetics, a lot of things will fall under that. I.e., are you someone who presses? Are you someone who holds up the ball really well? Are you really strong? Do you give the back line a headache? So all of that kind of stuff will fall under that. And then the GA is obviously self-explanatory. It's just the goals and assists. No one cares how you actually get those kind of in. And I just felt like parts of last season, it was like you weren't really providing any of them. Do you know what I mean? It was like, or like, if you're not like he wouldn't provide the GA, so you're like, okay, cool. What else are you providing? But then he's not really providing then the aesthetics part, and again, all the things that are listed underneath that. And I'm just like, so then what are you really offering? Do you know what I mean? Like you run around a lot, like even the pressing side. I mean, it's because the guy on the right hand side doesn't do it. You just look good by default, in my personal opinion. Like it's not hard. Salah don't press. Salah don't track back. Salah don't defend. Get me in there on the left hand side. Yeah, I probably could run around for a little while. It might not last the full 90 minutes, but you know what I mean? Like I could go out there and do the same thing. Gakpo can do the same thing. Rio can do the same thing. Anybody can do that kind of thing, right? So that was always my thing with Luis Diaz. It was like, yeah, I don't really get what everybody kind of sees in this kind of player. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's not really producing anything, if I'm being honest with you. And yeah, I think now that he is obviously gone and he is obviously now signed with Bayern Munich, I'm like, yeah, that's calm. You can go over there. And I think, like, I never really like everyone's like, if you've listened to my content, I've spoken about the areas that I think Liverpool need to really like for me to take them serious, and again, I'm just one man, but for me to then come out and be like, nah, I think Liverpool are this, and this. There are certain areas of the pitch, so striker and midfield, central midfield. Those are the only two positions I actually cared about. Everything else was just whatever. Like, we sign it, great, good for depth, whatever. But in terms of like people to come into the team straight away, it was those two positions. Now, striker, I don't know what's actually going on with that position. So I look at central midfield. When I look at the wings and stuff, never really been too fussed like that. Do you know what I mean? I've never really been that bothered. Like when we look at, like, say for example, when we're heading into this season coming now. Obviously got Rio, and I like Rio. Like I like Rio. I think with Rio, and I put a tweet out and I said this. I said, with young players, it's always tricky, right? If you're good enough, you're old enough, right? That we all know that, and anyone who's just watched football, that's kind of like a saying. It doesn't really matter about your age. We've seen a lot of young players, and I'm not even talking about like the elite, just young players in general. Like James Milner, he's not an elite player, but you know what I mean. Like, started out young, had a fantastic career. It is probably the best professional that I've ever heard and seen, kind of thing, right? So that you can go either or in those kind of directions. And then obviously you got your Lamine Yamals and Wayne Rooney's, Kylian Mbappe's, the guys who start really, really young. So Cesc Fabregas. When you talk about young players and stuff, I'm always like, if the manager believes you're so good that you can step into this team, I don't really have a problem with that. Obviously, if you can go and sign better, then go and sign it. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know who that is. We'll get obviously into certain players now, but if there isn't really anyone out there, I'll be honest, the only player now, obviously in the teams now, like if we just looked at the team today, is obviously Rio and Gakpo. What, Rio can't fight with Gakpo? Come on, bro. Gakpo's not that good. Do you know what I mean? So when I'm looking, I'm thinking Rio can definitely take that spot. Or he can at least get, even if you did play Gakpo and Gakpo's your main guy, right? And he knows, okay, I'm main Don. Rio's just gonna come in for a few minutes here and there, and I'll get sub for him, etc., etc. I'm still looking at Rio and I'm thinking, yeah, but I feel like, I don't know, man. Like, I wouldn't mind starting him next season. I can't lie to you. Like, I'm not really that bothered. Like, I look at some of these other young players, and people always laud like the Barcelonas, the Ajaxes, the Dortmund. You know why? Because they just play these guys. They just play them. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Obviously, we're different kind of teams to some of those teams, but like, when I'm just looking on the face of it, I'm saying, yeah, no, you could just play Rio. Why not? Do you know what I mean? Like I just don't feel like it's that deep. Liverpool don't seem like they have a problem with scoring goals. Do you know what I mean? If anything, it's the other end where I feel like Liverpool have a problem. Do you know what I mean? Defending goals. So that would be more of a worry for me more than anything else. But scoring them, I feel like Rio would be calm. But again, I'm not advocating for anything. I'm just more like, like, to me, I don't think people need to get hung up about this. It's not that deep. Sign whoever. I don't think it actually matters who Liverpool put out there. I think the results are going to be the exact same. We're not signing Vinicius Jr., Kylian Mbappe. Everybody else is now below that, so it doesn't actually matter. Kvaratskhelia, all these kind of guys. So really, what's really out there? Do you know what I mean? Rodrigo, how much better is he going to be? Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not expecting Rodrigo to do a madness. I think Rodrigo will do the same as Diaz anyway. Do you know what I mean? Is that he ain't gonna do more. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not that bothered about that kind of position. Another player obviously is Malik Fofana. Again, Malik Fofana, I think another top youngster. I think he's obviously ahead of a Rio in terms of his development. Obviously, he's been exposed to first team football, early, and he's now got a lot more experience in top level football before a Rio. So of course, if you looked at it like that, like Malik Fofana, if he was in our team and just say he had the same level of experience as he's got now, this is the perfect player. You don't need to sign anybody else. You've got obviously Cody Gakpo, and then you've got Malik Fofana. Perfect. For me, that is perfect. That is the exact ideal situation a top club would want to be in, which is you've got your main guy, your main Don Dada, whoever that might be. So obviously Gakpo in this case, but then you've got the youngster, and you've got the youngster who he's already got the experience. He's already got the experience. If anything, he's probably genuinely fighting, to actually start. And no one's really batting an eyelid at that. You know what I'm trying to say? So, yeah, Rio's a bit different. Rio's just more, I just rate him, but I don't think he's better than a Malik Fofana, as an example. Fofana for me is better, more experience. And again, you can only get to this level with the experience. So, yeah, there is obviously that. Of course, you got Cody Gakpo, on that side of the pitch as well. Listen, rate him, don't rate him. He did his thing last season. You definitely can't deny that. I don't rate him that highly. To be honest with you, I'm not going to sit here and lie. Regardless of what he did last season, I still don't think there's a top player in there. I think it would be a shock if I saw something beyond any kind of level that he's showing me now, to be honest with you. But again, I'm here to be shocked. I'm here to be surprised. I wouldn't really mind that. And then, of course, as I said, you've got Rodrigo. I feel like how much better is he? Let's take all the hate and all that kind of and all the the bias and whatever out of it. I mean, how much better is he? Like, I'm not saying he isn't better, by the way. Just listen to the words coming out of my mouth. I'm not saying he isn't better. So if you believe he is, that's up to you. I'm not arguing with that. I actually don't care about that. I'm just trying to figure out if you do think he's better, how much better is he? Because you're lying if you're saying they're worlds apart because they're not worlds apart at all. They are very, very close in terms of ability and everything like that. One plays for Real Madrid, the other plays for Liverpool. One plays for the biggest club in the world, the other one doesn't. Do you know what I'm trying to say? One's got the would I say the star attraction just purely because he plays for Real Madrid, but then the other one's an international superstar, obviously playing for Colombia. He's one of their best, if not their best player, one of their most important players, etc., etc. Yeah, I don't look at those two and think there's much between them, to be honest with you. Um, so yeah, I'm not going to be upset if you get him in. I'm also not going to be super gassed. He's not the like I said, the wing positions again, unless you were signing Kvaratskhelia, obviously Vinny and Mbappe would be out of reach. But unless you're signing him, I don't really care. I'll be honest with you guys. Like, I think we get too bogged down on this kind of stuff, and I get it because I think, yeah, if I'm being super honest, I just think in terms of the left wing, especially Liverpool fans are actually bored, but they're too proud to say that they don't really rate Diaz or a Gakpo. And they're tired of watching them. I think you're just too proud to really come out and say it, but you're saying it without saying it. That's the funny thing. When we have these streams and these conversations about these players, I've heard more or less every single person who's probably watched my content who has commented or I've interacted with. I've heard how you've spoken about these players. I know how most of you, 90% of you, feel anyway about these kind of guys. You probably do wish we had better players than those guys, but you won't come out and say it because they're obviously a part of our team and, red tear. You know me? I don't care about that. I like football. And I want to see something that, actually excites me when I'm watching it. Luis Diaz did that in that first 6 months, hasn't done it since. So him going, not bothered, bringing another player, just bring someone exciting. Don't really care who. If you think it's Rodrigo, bring him in. Think it's Malik Fofana, bring him in. Think Rio can do the job, keep him there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care, man. Sort out there's more important positions for Liverpool than left wing. I can tell you that for free. I can tell you that for free. Liverpool won't win or lose the league because we don't have a left winger who's good enough. Like, we're not going to sign some shit player if we are to sign someone. We're not going to sign someone who's like Stuart Downing level. Do you know what I mean? We're going to probably sign someone who is probably decent. So I'm not bothered about that position. Sort out the positions that are actually a problem, and I think Liverpool will have a very, very successful season. But yeah, man, like I say, it's a big up to Diaz. Big up to Diaz. Obviously, you've done your thing, helped us win a Premier League. So thank you for that. And yeah, hopefully you go to Bayern Munich and win loads of trophies, man. That's really all you kind of hope for. That's what he's gone there to do, anyways. Bayern Munich, win a few more league titles, probably win more league titles at Bayern Munich than he would do at Liverpool. Fairs. Do you know what I mean? Bayern Munich look like they're a team that's probably trying to, really aim for that Champions League as well. Fairs. Do you know what I mean? Just like Liverpool. So yeah, man, go and do your thing, man. I'm not really bothered about that. I'm more concerned with what Liverpool do next. And I hope you guys are concerned as well. So let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think Liverpool should do next? How do you feel about this Luis Diaz deal? Do you think it's that deep? If there is a player out there that you think we should go out there and sign, let me know who that player is. Do you trust Rio to come in next season? That's probably the bigger question. I want to know how much you guys actually rate a Rio. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because like I said before, Lamine Yamal does not become Lamine Yamal unless Javi gives him his debut and then allows him to play the following season. And then obviously Hansi Flick coming in. That doesn't happen unless they just said, "No, we think you're good enough. We think you're so good, we're going to move the brother that's in that position to the other flank. That's how good we think you are." That doesn't happen unless he's been given the opportunity. Are we going to do the same with Rio? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, peeps. I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.